Hi there everyone. Today joining me live all the way from United States of America through a Zoom video call is a man who has spent decades engineering medical breakthroughs in the United States and now is reshaping the future of India's classroom. He is a world-renowned scientist, founder of Tarang Health Alliance and India's UNESCO representative for global health, Dr. Rahul Mehra. Sir, Dr. Rahul, sir, I heartily welcome on behalf of my news channel, Chini Khorang Tripura, and on behalf of all the media outlets from our state, Tripura.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
First of all, how are you doing, sir, up there in United States?
I'm doing very well, thank you. It's morning time here, so I'm doing well. I'm keeping healthy, and if you're healthy, you're happy.
Yes, that's great to hear, sir. Basically, it's night time here in India right now. So yeah, sir, before we start, Dr. Mehra ji, firstly give us a short overview regarding Tarang Health Alliance. What is this organization actually, and what is your vision about this organization and this health education?
Yes, the vision of Tarang Health Alliance, which is an NGO in India, is that we believe that every child has to be healthy to realize their full potential. When they grow up, they should be able to do anything they want. And for that, the basic requirement is good health. Now, how do we implement that vision is that we conduct health education programs in schools across India. So we have developed a curriculum on health education for students, and then we train the teachers, or we have our own teachers who teach health in the different schools. And it's very important that these teachers get special training, because teaching health is different than teaching science or math. It's about behavior change. We have to change the behavior of the children. They have to develop healthy behavior. So that is what we do. Implementation, and then we monitor, we assess India.
Yeah, so it's a great initiative. It's a great vision to have because as a country like India, we have a larger populations where education is largely neglected, especially in rural places like states like in northeastern states and other parts of the country. So basically, since Tarang Health Alliance is focusing on health education basically for all the schools across the nation. So as of now, is there any states who have already accepted and already mandatorily teaching this subject in some part of the states?
Yeah, we have signed an MOU with the government of Haryana, and we are doing a pilot there. Not every school in Haryana is implementing the program, so we have started a pilot, and we are doing it in Haryana. And then we also have schools in Jaipur, which is in Rajasthan. We have some schools in Delhi NCR. But it is not a policy that every school in any state is implementing the health program. And lastly, we are also working with NCRT, which is the big educational body, as you know.
Yeah.
We are trying to influence them that they should include health education as part of the core curriculum. And if that happens, then in every state and every school across the country, health education will become much more prevalent.
Yeah, so basically, sir, you want health education to be mandatory in every schools across the country. So what is that single biggest threat? What is that threat if we do not act now, that our students, they are going to face if we don't act now? So how are you going to persuade the government, the state government, the central government to accept this initiative?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I think, as you well know, the health metrics of India are not very good. Our life expectancy is not very good. Our what we call healthy life expectancy is not good. Now, I'll give you an example. The healthy life expectancy of an Indian, which means how many years does an Indian live and remain healthy, is only 60 years.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to Japan and some of the other developed countries, in Japan it's 75 years. A human being is healthy till 75. We are only healthy till the age of 60. We die early. Also, our life expectancy is 70, whereas in Japan it's 85, 87 among women. So the point is for everyone to realize their full potential and lead a full life. Health is fundamental to the population.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely.
We spend a lot of money on diseases. As you know, diabetes is very common in India. We have a lot of heart disease. We have a lot of cancer. So what we are trying to influence the government is that if you teach health in schools the same way you teach science and math, and then health is taught at home by the parents, then the child will learn healthy habits at a very young age. And they'll grow up to be healthy and be able to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, sir, since you have mentioned about the Japan as a country, they're a developed country, yes. So comparing comparing Japan, since they are a developed country, and India as a underdeveloping countries. So India as a developing countries, we lack for basic infrastructural developments, basic educational developments. Like we are somewhere in between. We are not actually in that part. So how are you going to bring these challenges and into make this happen in reality? Because Japan, they are already highly advanced in technology, they're highly advanced in education. So comparing to Japan's situation but scenario, how are you going to make it happen in India?
You know, our vision is that education is fundamental. Japan did not become a leader in technology without good education. They have a very good education system. They have very good health programs in schools. So education and health are the fundamentals of any society, but it takes a long time. If a population is not healthy, we cannot become a developed country. As you know, Modi ji always says we want to be Viksit Bharat by 2047. We cannot be Viksit Bharat unless we are a healthy population. So we have to start from step number 1, health. And that is why we are working with the government. We are talking to private schools. And we want every school in India to have health education as a compulsory subject.
Yeah, and as a representative of UNESCO and the representative of India, earlier we have seen that your campaign revolves around this 5-4-3-2-1-0 framework for a healthy life. So I'm very curious to know, like for our viewers especially, you please give us a quick breakdown about what is this framework. What is this specific formula for this healthy lifestyle about this 5-4-3-2-1-0 framework?
Yeah, this is what we call a health mantra. It is to make students remember something very easily. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, any student can remember. So the number 5 means you should eat 5 portions of fruits and vegetables every day. 5 katoris, 5 portions. So for example, 1 banana is 1 portion. If you have 1 katori of vegetables, that's number 2. We have to have 5 katoris of fruits and vegetables every day.
Yeah.
4 means that we must wash our hands with soap and water at least 4 times a day. Before every meal, before breakfast, before lunch, before dinner, and after you go to the toilet. If you go to the toilet once a day, that's 4. Washing your hands, as you well know, kills the germs. We have a lot of infectious diseases in India. There's a lot of diarrhea, all kinds of infectious diseases, because we don't wash our hands, and then we put our hands in our mouth, and all these germs are inhaled. So that's 4. 3 is protein, number of portions of proteins we should have every day. We need protein to make sure that we are growing properly. protein is required for the growth of every cell. So that is extremely important that children consume protein every day. One actually is that students should be physically active for at least 1 hour every day on physical activity. They should exercise, they should play, they do whatever you want, 1 hour of physical activity every day. And zero means you should have zero tobacco, zero junk food, all that should be zero. So this is just a simple mantra we give to our students for something that they can remember easily.
Yeah, so basically 54320, this is a kind of a scheduled timing for a healthy lifestyle. Yeah, so it's very great.
Yeah, it's just something easy for the children to remember.
Yeah. And yes, talking about health educations, like the National Education Policy in 2020 talks about health and wellness. But 6 years later, 6 years has passed now, nothing has changed on the ground. So basically, who is blocking this? Is it the bureaucrats or the politicians? What is your views on this, Doctor?
I think it's the point is NEP 2020, as you know, talked about holistic education of a child. And the word holistic means it includes health education. But it is not happening on the ground. And I think it's up to the government bodies like NCRT, the SCRTs of every state, like Tripura has its own SCRT. It's in their hands. It's in the hands of NCRT. So it's not the politicians. I think it's the people who implement policy is the NCRT body and the SCRT bodies. They have to make sure that the curriculum is good, and they have to make sure that we also have well-trained teachers. We need two things. We need a good curriculum, and we need well-trained teachers. If you don't have good teachers, children will not learn.
Yeah, Doctor, education policy makers such as, like you mentioned about NCERT and so what if they can only make recommendations, or they can directly implement such policies to the states, or if they can only recommend this new education policy for making it mandatory for health education subject permanently like other subjects. So if they can only recommend, like it's all up to the states whether to implement them or not. So do you think there is something barrier into this?
I think the main barrier is, I think NCRT has to, number one, improve the curriculum. Number two, they cannot force every state, like in Tripura, they cannot force Tripura to implement the NCRT. It's up to the Tripura Department of Education to adopt it. So Tripura has to take the leadership role. If they don't like the NCRT curriculum, they can develop their own curriculum. It's in the hand of the state. Education is a state subject. NCRT recommends, and then the states can adopt that curriculum, or they can say, no, we don't like it, we will develop our own curriculum. So Tripura can develop its own health education curriculum. Nobody can stop Tripura from doing that.
Yeah. So let's say Tarang Health Alliance has come to Tripura in our state, and how are you going to persuade, or how are you going to into conversation with the education department, for making it happen in our state?
You know, the way I would start is that the health metrics of Tripura are not very good.
Yeah,
as you know, about 30 to 40% of children in Tripura are stunted. I think you know the meaning of the word stunted. It means their height is small for their age. A 5-year child should have a certain height, or a 6-year child should have a certain height. They're below the height. And the reason why it occurs is because when the child was born, it was undernourished. The mother did not feed the child either its breast milk or other nutrition, not properly. And the brain does not get developed very well. So we have to educate these young girls so that when they become mothers, they understand that they have to feed their children properly. The other thing is, there's a lot of children are underweight in Tripura. At the same time, if you go to the big cities, you'll find obesity and overweight is happening. If you go to the big cities of Tripura, about 10% of the adolescents are getting overweight or obese. So on one side you have underweight, and the other side you have too much food, junk food. These children are eating too much junk food. They're drinking too much colas and all this stuff, sugary drinks. So there are many problems. The other thing is anemia is a big problem in Tripura. Anemia means that your blood is not giving enough oxygen to the rest of your body. The latest data is about 57% of girls in Tripura are anemic. Why are they anemic? Because their nutrition is not very good. They're not eating enough green fruits, green vegetables. They're not getting enough iron in their blood. If you don't have enough iron, so my point is, I will point to Tripura that you have health problems. Your children have health problems. When these children will grow up, their mental capacity would not be as good, their physical capacity will not be as good, and the only way you can solve the problem is when they are school children. This is why you need health education. Make it compulsory. The same way you have math, you have science, you have language, make health a subject.
Talking about health subject, we have another subject called physical education, which is already into the school curriculum. So if we happen to add another subject, which is health education, basically, so is there any challenges that the department, the schools are going to face? Like, who is going to teach? Is it the physical education teachers that you are going to retrain them, or entirely a new workforce will be hired?
You ask a very good question. We have physical education in schools. Now, if you look at a typical physical education teacher, they are not trained to teach nutrition. They're not trained to teach hygiene. They're not trained to teach drug abuse, all these things. They're trained to teach physical activity, sports. So either we'll have to retrain all these teachers, the PE teachers, the physical education teachers, or we'll have to develop a new cadre of teachers who are trained to teach health. So this training is not present today, and this is how we train our teachers. We train our teachers very specifically because these teachers have to change the health behavior of students, not just give them knowledge. See, a typical teacher gives a student knowledge. This is your knowledge about science. This is your knowledge about math. But health is not only about knowledge. It's about how you behave. I can teach a child how to wash their hands properly, but if they don't wash their hands, I have not succeeded.
Yeah. So in rural government schools, talking about Tripura as a state, kids are struggling with basic infrastructure like clean drinking water and functional toilets, especially in rural schools, in rural government schools. So how can a school teach hygiene out of workbook? Like when the school is itself lacking facilities like proper water, sanitation, this and that.
No, you're absolutely right. The first step is you have to have proper infrastructure. Without proper instruction, nothing can happen. Because if they're going to the toilet and the toilet is not clean, you're teaching them to be hygienic. But the school is, so the first thing the government has to do is to make sure that we have a hygienic infrastructure. There are separate toilets for boys, separate toilets for girls. And this is the job of the government. Or if there are certain NGOs in Tripura, I don't know, maybe they can help also. They can provide some funds. But this is step number one, infrastructure. They should have soap in the school. They have hand washing stations. So you're absolutely right. You cannot teach health without basic infrastructure. So that's step number one.
And like Tripura as a state, we can see that there are lots of like several multiple government schemes, government funds that used to come for rural development and coming for education, this and that. But it is how they execute the fund, how they execute the infrastructure development money. The thing is that the basic roots is in a deteriorating state. So talking about bringing educational health in rural government schools, it's going to be a highly challenging for Tarang Health Alliance. So what are your like core initiatives regarding this ahead?
No, I think we have to conduct advocacy with the government, because health is not only about physical health, it's also about mental health, social health. So the point is, if you cannot, if the toilets are not hygienic, you can still teach children how to be mentally strong, how to advocate, how to speak up, how to talk to their principal, how to talk to their teachers, how to have self-confidence. So mental health can be. So the fact is, just because you don't have good infrastructure does not mean you can not teach health. Health is physical health, mental health, and social health. And mental health means how to manage stress. If I am in a very stressful situation, how do I deal with it? If I have exam stress, how do I deal with it? And as you know, nowadays cell phones are being used by all the children, and they're addicted to the cell phones. You have to tell them that causes mental stress. So I agree with you that physical health, teaching hygiene would be a challenge because their toilets are not clean, but mental health and social health, how to talk to people, how to have a healthy relationship, this is all part of health.
Yeah, and I want to ask one more thing, like, is Tarang Health Alliance going to bring any initiative which you are going to provide a scholarship or any incentives for the children studying in rurals? Because out there here in Tripura, in rural, like the indigenous people, especially the tribal peoples, they're very poor in economic. So there is this challenges of going to schools and giving proper nutrition for food, this and that. So there is always challenges like in difference from the schools and the household. The family cannot bear these expenses of providing proper nutrition and food. So is there any initiative being taken by the Tarang Health Alliance for this aid?
Yeah, the thing is, we depend partially on CSR funding. We get money from CSR. I think you understand corporate social responsibility from companies. So if we raise enough funds, then we'll be able to provide all these things to the students. But it depends upon how much CSR funding we can raise. For example, we raise money for these school children in Haryana, and we are providing free education to the children. These are government school children. And we also talk to the parents of the students. We bring the parents to the school. These are very poor children from very poor families. They are basically day laborers. We bring them to the school. We give them food to eat so that they'll come to the school, the parents. We hold competitions. We motivate them. So that way they are motivated to learn something about health, because many parents don't know what healthy nutrition is. You have to teach the child and you have to teach the parent. So we work on both fronts. Of course, mainly on the children, but we also talk to the parents of these students. So, we would like to work in Tripura. We would like to sign an MOU with the government of Tripura. And if we can raise the funds, then we will definitely work with the children, work with the parents, and provide them the education and the motivation to have a healthy lifestyle. But I agree with you. It's a challenging task because a lot of your community is very poor. They are rural or tribal, and the education level is not very high there. But we can teach them health. Health can be taught to anybody. You don't need a advanced degree. You just need to understand what do we need to eat every day.
Yeah, well, before
why we have to be hygienic. Anyway,
yeah. Before we end this, would you like? Do you have any strong message, any strong like comprehensive information to share with the people of Tripura regarding how to maintain a physical health, mental health, and to live a healthy lifestyle?
Again, I would say number one, the 543210 mantra is a good mantra. But what I would say is two things. Number one, I would say to the parents, make sure your children are eating a healthy diet. There's enough protein in their diet. Don't eat too many carbohydrates. You know, we eat a lot of carbohydrates, rice and chapati and all this.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, I would say is that be physically active. Be outside. Go outside and play with your children. Do things with your children so that, you know, you're outside. And being outside also gives you sunlight and you get more vitamin D. You know, a lot of our children are vitamin D deficient. Even our parents are vitamin D deficient. So, and then love your children. Love your children. Talk to them with respect and love, and they'll love you back. And this is how you grow mental health. So, parents can do their part at home. The schools have to do their part in teaching them health in the school. So when the both combine, the child grows up to be a healthy child and can realize their potential and do whatever they want.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us, for joining me for this special and very significant topic which you have brought us today for the education subject. The health education to be implemented, to be mandatory in every state of our country. So I'm highly honored and privileged to have this special media interactions with you, sir. So once again, thank you so much on behalf of our news channel, Chini Khorang Tripura. And once again, thank you so much on behalf of all the media outlets of Tripura.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your presence. Thank you for interviewing me, and I wish all the best to your audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much once again.
Okay, bye now.
Saboni ng Agartala.
Saboni ng Bishramganj.
Saboni ng Kanchanpur. O party mo na din na tong plaza.
Hasteni thungkrung tongkhor.
Tiaba dang mani sora waron saknai phurang mong. Kok shanai holong chirok hognai hasteni hapong khatan. Choyoi nai tong din ro Chini Khorang.